Okay, welcome back to Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to bring you another pick and prediction video. We're talking about the fourth and final game for the quarterfinal round in the CFP. We have Texas Tech and Oregon in the Orange Bowl, noon kickoff, New Year's Day. So keep that in mind. Noon kickoff, Eastern time, Eastern Standard Time, right? Oregon's body clock is going to be 9 a.m. at kickoff, so keep that in mind. Oregon comes into this game as a 1.5 point favorite. They're here because they crushed James Madison last week, 51-34 in a game that wasn't that close. Texas Tech dominated the Big 12, comes in as the 4 seed. Their only loss was to Arizona State on the road, 26-22, and they lose to Arizona State when they did not have their when the Red Raiders didn't have their starting quarterback in that game. So that's what brings us here. That's how these two teams got here. Let's go ahead and get into the matchup analyses. So Texas Tech's offense versus the Oregon defense. So let's talk that quarterback Barry Moore, and he's back 8.7 yards per attempt, solid, 47% success rate, decent, 34th. Not that great in explosives. They don't really hit a lot of plays over the top, 83rd in explosives. Their best wide receiver is Caleb Douglas, more of an intermediate guy, probably their best downfield threat, but not, I wouldn't call a dangerous downfield threat. And they throw it a lot out to their running backs. They use a two-headed monster at running back, and those running backs both catch a lot of passes. Oregon, on the other side of that, pass defense-wise, one of the best pass defenses in the country from day one. Top three in yards per attempt allowed, 5.3 yards per attempt. Completion percentage allowed is 49.5%. That's also top three. Third in success rate allowed, 13th in explosives allowed, and they've been legitimate. Now, I've said this with the other Big Ten teams. A lot of garbage in the Big Ten, a lot of stat pad and potential in the Big Ten. But they did go against Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner, and they didn't shut him down, but he didn't really go off either, right? He had an efficient day, but Oregon was able to keep those receivers relatively under wraps for the most part. Went against Drew Aller. If you think Drew Aller is that guy, this is before Penn State died. Oregon's the one who killed him. They go on the road to Penn State and they absolutely shut down Drew Aller in that game. If you think he's a good QB, I've never been a Drew Aller guy, but that's up to you. Shut him down. So the best two quarterbacks they faced this season, you could say they had some relative success against. So against a Baron Morton, what's it going to look like? That's going to be a key test in this one. If Morton is able to slice up this Oregon secondary, that's going to go a long way for the Red Raiders to win this football game. And then you talk about pressure to help out that pass defense. Oregon, 41% pressure rate. That's 10th nationally. Now, they're not very good at getting home. Sack rates 13.5%, but they will get you off your spot and force you into some errant throws. Morton, under EPA under pressure is 25th. That's solid, but going against an Oregon defense, he might not look that good. Because when we're talking about the Red Raiders as well, you talk about who they played against. The best defenses they played were BYU twice and the Utah Utes. Neither one of those defenses come close to what the Oregon Ducks have. And then finally, the running game. You'll be surprised because as much as Texas Tech dominated the Big 12, you would think they had a dominant running game, but not really. The running backs are more catching passes out of the backfield and making plays that way on swing passes and things like that. 45th in explosives is it's whatever. 83rd in success rate. So against this Oregon Duck defense that can be gashed if you have a strong rushing attack, I don't know if Texas Tech really has that. So I don't think that in this game, I don't know if Texas Tech is really going to get much going on the ground in this one. All right, let's look at the flip side of this matchup. Texas Tech's defense versus Oregon's offense. So Oregon's offense, Dante Moore, 72.1 completion percentage, fourth in America, 8.7 yards per attempt, one of the best in America. He's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the country all season, and that's despite having wide receiver injuries. He's had to do it with like fourth string guys at some points of this year. And now they're starting to get healthy. Decorian Moore and Gary Bryant, they came back last game against James Madison. They played limited snaps, probably because they didn't really need them. It was 48-13 in the third. I think they're going to be much closer to 100% in this game. And then maybe Evan Stewart's playing. I don't know. Last I heard, I was still up in the air. I'm not sure if he's playing or not. But you get Evan Stewart back. That's another big boost to this offense, though. He's probably going to be pretty rusty. And going against this Texas Tech secondary, 5.6 yards per allowed. That looks great on paper. 34% success rate allowed. That looks great on paper. Limiting explosive, 10th. Great on paper. Who's the best quarterbacks that Texas Tech has faced this year, though? The best passing attacks, Bear Bachmeier from BYU. He's a true freshman. I know he's a good true freshman, but he's a true freshman. That's not Dante Moore at Oregon. Utah's Dampier, that's a dual threat quarterback who's more legs than arms. So he's not even close to what Dante Moore is. So this is going to be the biggest test for Texas Tech's pass defense. So we're going to find out, are they just good on paper or are they actually good? And they do have a pass rush led by David Bailey. The pressure rates 15th, sacks rates 15th. So they got a solid pass rush. But Dante Moore has made plays under pressure this year. His EPA under pressure is fourth in America. So he's not going to really feel daunted by this Texas Tech front seven. And then finally, running game. This is where Texas Tech really, I guess you could say, their bread is buttered, right? Top ranked rush defense in America by yards per game. They've stonewalled legit attacks too. Utah, stonewall, BYU twice with LJ Martin. LJ Martin's a good running back for BYU. Shut him down. Oregon's run game is a committee approach. They don't really got a true dog, number one dog right there. There's no Michael James, right? There's nothing like that in the Oregon running back room. But still, as a team, 5.7 yards per carry. They got a great system, right? Sixth in EPA per rush, fourth in success rate. So this is going to be one of the bigger factors in determining the winner of this game. Because if Oregon can run the ball against Texas Tech, if Texas Tech can't stonewall these guys, the Ducks are going to smoke this team. So that's another interesting matchup that we're going to see play out in this one. So now let's get to my prediction. How do I think this is going to play out? What's my game script? Again, spread 1.5. It's gone up to 2 on some books. My model has the Ducks at 4.5. First off, I think Texas Tech is going to be able to contain this Oregon Duck running game to a degree. I respect what the system that the Ducks have, but I just don't think they really have a dog at running back. I think Texas Tech is going to be able to contain these guys relatively well. They might hit a gash play here and there, but overall, I think Texas Tech is going to be able to contain the running game. So it's going to be on Dante Moore. Can Dante Moore hit these speedy wideouts against this Texas Tech secondary? I think he can. I think there's a legit mismatch with the Oregon wide receivers versus this Texas Tech secondary. I don't think these guys have been tested by anyone, and they kind of boosted this. They kind of stat padded based on the quarterbacks and receivers they face in the Big 12. On the flip side of that, I've seen Baron Morton play. I've seen both. I watched both BYU games. I watched a good bit of the Utah game. Look, when I watch Baron Morton play, and you can say whatever you want on stats, season stats, and all of that, and the metrics that I just showed you, you watch him play, you see a quarterback who will struggle at times, more times than you would think, right? The BYU game, the first one, I mean, he couldn't get anything going. He's out there taking sacks when he should be getting rid of the ball, finding guys open in the flat. He's not getting anything done. But Texas Tech defense dominated BYU, so sooner or later the levee finally cracked, right? And they got something going offensively in that one. That was similar to the Utah game. It was 34-10, but they didn't get any scoring done until the fourth quarter. So I've seen Baron Morton play against a team like Oregon, a legit defense like this. I don't think that levee's ever going to break. I don't think Morton's going to really have a good game at all passing the ball. And I don't think Texas Tech can run the ball. I don't think they could run the ball against a team worse than Oregon. So I certainly don't think they can run the ball against Oregon. So the way I see this playing out, I see the Ducks defense dominating. I see Dante Moore hitting some big chunk plays through the air. I see a lot of yak from these Oregon wide receivers burning up this Texas Tech slower, maybe more mediocre style defensive backs they got on the Red Raiders. I do respect their running game, but give me the Ducks. I'm laying the 1.5. I think Oregon will win a game that will be competitive till maybe the Ducks start to pull away in the fourth quarter. So anyway, that's how I see things playing out. So we got 4 videos out there, all 4 games for the quarterfinal round. We got a few hours before the first game kicks off. So good luck to everybody on whatever picks you made. And stay tuned for my semifinal picks that we'll do once these couple days are done. Take care.